Hey friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria, and as you can see, I have a lot of books here. I haven't done a book haul in a very long time. I don't think I've done a book haul this year. I don't buy a lot of physical books because I read digitally. I do not buy books very often unless I've read them. So I've read like 95% of the books that I actually own physically, and so I rarely buy some, and so I don't have to do book hauls very often. But I have acquired a lot of books in the last, I guess, 7 months now, especially because I went to A Polycon. And so all of the books that I got at A Polycon will be in this haul. Also, I will mention specific ones. They are in no order. There is also a stack over here. So it's gonna be long. But I have a lot of books here, so I'm gonna go through them and show you what I got and let you know if I've read it and all that stuff. I'll give you not really a synopsis, but if I've read it, I'll give you maybe a star rating so that you can know how I felt about it. And I'll let you know which ones I haven't read yet. The first thing that I'm going to show you is actually not a book, but I wanted to include it in this haul because it's something that I got at A Polycon. I didn't own a lot of books for the authors that were going to be there, and I also couldn't bring a whole bunch because I was not driving. I was taking the train, and so I had to be able to carry my suitcase. There was no like checking a bag, so it didn't matter like if it was heavy kind of thing, because I can't lift really heavy things. And so I had to make my suitcase able to be, one, on the train, and two, I had to be able to lift it into the overhead thing in case nobody could help me. And so I bought this book sleeve at A Polycon, and it says A Polycon at the top, and it looks like a library like card slip. And then each of the authors, I got it signed by. So this first one on the top is Jennifer L. Armentrout, and then this one here is Megan Quinn's, and B.B. Reed is on here, and Juliet Cross, and a whole bunch of different authors are on there. And then there were 2 rooms at A Polycon, so they were on 2 sides. So authors that I saw in the first room are on one side, and then authors that I saw in the second room are on the other side. So the other side has B. Celeste, it has Rowan Parrish, it has Corinne Michaels, it has Tessa Bailey on it, so Nikki Sloan. So there's a shadow, but I will not use this as an actual book sleeve. I'm gonna just like put it on display on my shelf, but I'm really excited that I have this and that A Polycon had that offer. And I am probably gonna get one for Love in Vegas when I go to Love in Vegas, because I think that there's one for there too. Okay, now let's start with books. So the first one, I'm going to start with the stack over here. The first one that I have here is The Long Game by Rachel Reed. I have read this book. This is the follow-up part 2 to Shane and Ilya's story from Heated Rivalry. You can't buy Heated Rivalry in a paperback, otherwise I would own it. But I really, when they said that they were going to have paperback versions of The Long Game, I had to have it. It's it's hockey, it's enemies to friends to lovers that takes place over years. It's fantastic. Love it. 5 stars. Okay. Then the next one that I have is The Many Sins of Lord Cameron by Jennifer Ashley. I actually read this book, I think in 2020, but my mom has been reading more in the summer, and my mom loves historicals, and so she comes to my room because I have the books, and so she comes and asks me for book recommendations for what historicals she should read. And I hate this lighting. Hang on. I apologize for the lighting. It got so dark outside, but my mom will come into my room and ask me what historicals she should read, and I'll recommend them to her. And she read The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie and Lady Isabella's Scandalous Marriage and wanted to continue with the series, and I didn't own them, so I picked up this one, which is book 3, and I also got Hart's book, which is The Duke's Perfect Wife. It's somewhere in this stack. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere in this stack, so I got both of those so my mom could read them. Then I got Sarah McLean's Wicked and the Wallflower from a used bookstore for like 25 cents. I have never read this book, but I liked the step back, and this is one that's been on my list to read for ages. Then I got Scandalous Desires from a McKay's used bookstore in Virginia. It has this beautiful 2-page bathtub step back, and I didn't own that one, so I had to get it. I got Broken Bonds by J. Bree. I actually bought this book for A Polycon before J. Bree announced that she couldn't go anymore, but I read Broken Bonds and the next 2 books in the series within the last month, and I love the series. It's so addictive. It is a reverse harem paranormal series, and it's great. I got Redeemed by Lauren Asher. I needed to get Redeemed by Lauren Asher. I absolutely adore this book so freaking much, and I just needed the edition, and so when it was on sale on Amazon, I couldn't say no, so I grabbed it. I have this book from A Polycon that I got at A Polycon, which is Get Stitches by Juliet Cross. It is signed and personalized with a little message from Juliet Cross. This is book 3 in the Stay a Spell series. I owned book 1 and 2, and I got book 3, and I also got book 4, which is in this stack somewhere. None of these books are in order, so sorry. Then we have another book I got for A Polycon, which is A Promise of Fire by Amanda Boucher. I actually owned the mass market paperback original cover of this book, and when I saw this UK cover, I decided to get this one instead. It just felt more like a fantasy book to me, and I just really liked the cover, and so when I knew I wanted to get one signed by Amanda at A Polycon, I wanted this cover. This is a fantasy romance, and it's one of my all-time favorites. Then I got to see Sophie Lark at A Polycon, and I was able to grab Stolen Air in the new covers that she has, and I had the opportunity to get Brutal Prince also, and I'm like kicking myself that I didn't, so I'll have to get it when I go to Vegas. But Stolen Air is my second favorite in the series. Broken Vow is my favorite in the series, but I absolutely had to grab this when it was there because the cover is just so pretty. She's like a ballerina, and with the shackles on her, it's perfect, and I love it. Okay, I have Rewriting the Stars by Claire Kingsley. This one is actually signed by Claire Kingsley. She was doing this selling signed copies right when the book came out in her store, and I grabbed one because they were no more expensive to grab a signed copy from her store than they were to get them from Amazon, so I figured I'm just gonna get it signed. And I don't actually own the rest of the books in this series, and I've actually never read this one, but I plan to as soon as possible. Then I have Second Semester by QB Tyler. This is my favorite QB Tyler that I've read. It is a short novella. It is steamy. It is taboo. It is dad's best friend. It's fantastic, and I'm gonna meet QB Tyler in Vegas, and I just needed to have this book, and so I bought it. I have Priest by Sierra Simone. This one I walked into my Barnes & Noble one day, and my Barnes & Noble is shitty. They have a terrible romance section, and they have like no indie romances. All of the romances that are in my Barnes & Noble are like old school historicals reprints, and they suck. And so whenever they have indie books, I grab them as soon as possible. And so I saw that they had Priest, and I wanted to show Barnes & Noble that I am happy that they had Priest, so I grabbed it. I actually haven't read this book yet, though. Okay, then I have this So Worthy My Love by Catherine Woodowis, which is actually like in a trade paperback size, but it has a trade paperback step back, and it was at a McKay's used bookstore, and it was 75 cents, so I had to buy it. I have never read this, probably never will read this, but I needed to have it. Then I, at that same McKay's, got The Duchess Hunt by Lorraine Heath. This is a recent release within the last year or so, I think. And I actually have never read this, never read Lorraine Heath, but I really want to, and it was 75 cents, so I bought it. Here is The Duke's Perfect Wife. Like I said, I had grabbed it for my mom. Then I got First Semester by QB Tyler. This is the first QB Tyler that I read, and it's book 1 in the series that includes second semester, and this one is a professor-student one. It was fantastic. Taboo. I did like second semester more, but I still really like this one, so I grabbed it. I got Twisted Love and Twisted Games by Anna Huang. They were on sale on Amazon for like a really good price, and I was like, I'm gonna grab those. I would have preferred to have the hot guy covers than these covers, but these were the ones that were on sale, and I don't have a lot of money, so if it's on sale, I'm gonna go with the one that's less expensive. And that's why I grabbed these ones. But I have read and loved Twisted Love, and I am still like 65% through Twisted Games and haven't picked it up again. I've like read 65%, put it down, and then haven't picked it up again. So I will eventually read it, but not right now. Then next one I have is the Hello Lovely box version of A Nordic King by Karina Halley. I have never read this book, but I would like to, and I really like this cover. I think it looks really pretty. So I think it's a royal romance, which is part of the reason why I haven't read it yet, because I don't love royal romances. Then we're getting into more books that I got for a Polycon. I got My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey and got it signed by Tessa Bailey. I haven't read this, still haven't read any Tessa Bailey books actually, but I have heard very mixed reviews about this because some people absolutely love it and some people absolutely hate it, so we'll see how it goes. I have heard the audiobook is not great, which sucks, kind of limits my ability to read it, but I would like to, goal of mine is to read this book before the end of the summer, so I have to read it this month. I got a little sampler. It's like the 3-chapter sampler for Bittersweet Heart by Helena Hunting. I am so excited for this book. It comes out so soon. It's Mav's book, and I literally think that it's professor student, but the heroine is the professor. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, so it's age gap, and I am in love with that. Also, Mav is a hockey player, so it's a sports romance, and I'm just like so fucking excited for it. Helena was teasing us at a Polycon because she had a full already done copy of it there that she was letting you like look at, but you couldn't buy it, and I was mad. Then from Helena Hunting's table, I had pre-ordered Pucked and Pucked Off. These are my 2 books that I like in the Pucked series. The Pucked series was very up and down for me. I liked Pucked. It's very nostalgic for me and one of those like comfort reads that I always go back to, and I loved Pucked Off, which is Lance's book. It is fantastic. They're sports romances, but I didn't like book 2, and I didn't like book 3, and I didn't like book 6, I think. So I only liked like 3 books in the series, and these were the ones that I wanted, so I'm just bought these ones. Then I was talking with Desiree from Ginky Reader, and she recommended me this book, which is the remaking of Corbin Whale by Roan Parrish, and I have had Roan Parrish on my like TBR as like I want to read them for a very long time, and so when Desiree recommended this book to me and I went to Roan Parrish's table at a Polycon, I had to grab it. I don't really know what it's about. Desiree told me that it's the most magical, non-magical book that she's ever read. So that sounds great. I'm into it. Then I grabbed 2 Megan Quinn books for a Polycon. I got Boss Man's Bridegroom by Megan Quinn, and I got My Best Friend's Sister by Megan Quinn. These are 2 of my favorite Megan Quinn books that I grabbed to get signed at a Polycon. I also bought one of my all-time favorite Megan Quinn books, which is See Me After Class by Megan Quinn, and I bought it used on Amazon, and I bought it specifically so that I could bring it to a Polycon, but when it arrived on my doorstep, it was this special edition from the Bookworm box, and it was already signed. So I did not bring it with me to a Polycon, but I also have that one signed by Megan Quinn. Then just the other day actually, I came home and got 2 separate packages of Headcase by Onley James and Everything for You by Chloe Leese that somebody had bought for me off my wish list, but they didn't have notes in them. So if you bought these for me, please let me know, because I posted them on my Instagram and nobody told me that they bought them for me. So if one of you guys bought them for me, please let me know, because I would like to properly thank you, because I love them. Okay, more historicals. We have The Heiress Hunt by Joanna Shoup. This one I also got from McKay's used bookstore for 75 cents. It's a Joanna Shoup that I haven't read. I have heard that it's not people's favorite Joanna Shoup, but I got it anyway because it was 75 cents. And then I got Sophie Jordan, The Duke Spies a Bride. I got this one last month, I think, at a Barnes & Noble because I knew Sophie Jordan was going to be at a Polycon, and I got it signed there. And then I got Daring Pursuit and The Bride Goes Rogue. These were my two most anticipated historical romance releases of 2022, and I pre-ordered them and they both came out like within a couple of days of each other. I have already read The Bride Goes Rogue by Joanna Shoup. Absolutely loved it, gave it 5 stars, and I have yet to read A Daring Pursuit by Kate Bateman yet, but my mom says that she liked A Reckless Match better, which stinks, but I am still going to read this one. Okay, another Lorraine Heath that I got at McKay's used bookstore is this one, which is Love with a Scandalous Lord, and I got it because this pretty step back on the back. Then I have Sicko by Amo Jones. This one I read for a reading vlog, and I read it on Cheyenne from That Tall Book Girl's recommendation, and then Cheyenne from That Tall Book Girl sent it to me off my wish list for hitting 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, because she is an absolute sweetheart and an utter delight. So please go follow her if you don't already follow her, because she is just the sweetest fucking human being in the world. Okay, then I got Rebel by Rebecca Yarros in this new cover. This is a book that I read a long time ago. I think I read it in 2018 or 2019, depending on when it came out. And when I was going to be seeing Rebecca Yarros at a Polycon, I pre-ordered it so that I could get it signed from her. Then from the McKay's used bookstore that I went to, I picked up Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. I have not read this yet, but I would like to. I actually own the audiobook already. It's the other Penelope Douglas book that I'm thinking about reading, and it was $6. So I grabbed it. I don't really know what it's about, but I got it. Then I got this Charity Farrell book, which I had never heard of. It's called Just a Fling, and I don't really know a lot about it, but I was reading the back, and it's a bodyguard romance, and it was $1. So I bought it. I got, at that same McKay's, I got Fear Me by B.B. Reed. I read Lilac by B.B. Reed, and I did not like it. It was a 5-star prediction, and I think I gave it 2 stars. I did not like it. But I am intrigued to read other books by B.B. Reed, and so this one I picked up at that McKay's used bookstore, and it was signed, which was really funny because I went to this McKay's the day after I went to a Polycon, and B.B. Reed was at a Polycon, and I didn't go talk to her at a Polycon, but I did find and buy this the next day, and it was already signed. So it is signed to somebody named Carolina, so thanks Carolina. I hope I like it. Then I bought The Air by Sophie Lark used on Amazon. Whenever I periodically go through my wish list on Amazon and see if any of the books that I want are available for a good price in good condition used, and every so often I find a good gem. So I got The Air by Sophie Lark used on Amazon. This is book 1 in the Kingmaker series. I have not read it yet. I really, really want to. I am probably, Sophie says that the other Kingmakers books are going to be available on audiobook soon, and I'm thinking I will do a vlog reading all of the Kingmakers books. If that's something you'd be interested in, please let me know, because that's currently what I am debating doing. Then I also, on Amazon used, got There Is No Devil and There Are No Saints. I don't know which is the first one and which is the second one, but it's her Sinners duet, and I am going to see Sophie Lark in Vegas, so I picked up these ones. Sophie says that the audiobooks for these ones are going to come out soon, so I'm waiting for the audiobooks of these ones also, but I will eventually read them when the audiobooks come out. Okay, so another Rebecca Yarros that I pre-ordered. This is Wilder. This is book 1 in the series that I showed you that was Rebel, maybe. But this is book 1 in that series. So I pre-ordered that from Rebecca Yarros, and then I also pre-ordered from Rebecca Yarros Full Measures and Eyes Turned Skyward in these new covers, which I thought were really, really beautiful. I have not read these ones yet. I started this one once and then had to put it down for a readathon. So I will eventually pick it back up, but Carrie from Booktuber Romance raves about these 2 books, and I tend to like a lot of the same books as Carrie, and so I bought these 2. I bought Bright Like Wildfire by Juliet Cross for A Polycon because Juliet Cross was going to be there. I haven't read this yet. I'm very, very excited to because it's small town, and that's literally like all I'm in the mood to read right now is small town. So I want to read it really badly, but it does not have an audiobook currently. I'm crossing my fingers that it'll come out soon. This one I was given for free. It's like a Christmas anthology. Maybe Helena Hunting gave me this book for free. I'm intrigued. Then I picked up this book on Amazon for A Polycon. This is Unfixable by Tessa Bailey. This is the Tessa Bailey book I'm most interested in reading. It is her indie published ones, not her traditionally published one. It is takes place in Ireland, which is why I bought it. I love Ireland and I love books that take place in Ireland. So then I got Always Practice Safe Hex from Juliet Cross. This is book 4 in the Stay a Spell series. I am deeply excited to read this book, but the audiobook has not come out yet. I have read about 40% of this book and just cannot make my brain want to read it without the audiobook. It just isn't clicking for me, so I really, really want the audiobook because I love Gareth already just from the little bit that I've been able to read. Then I got Sweet Dandelion by Macaulay Smeltzer. This one, I have never read a Macaulay Smeltzer, but I really wanted to try Sweet Dandelion. It's the one that a lot of people who I trust their recommendations, and we have very similar reading tastes, they tend to like this one, and I really like the cover. That's really part of it. And so at A Polycon, I literally went over to Macaulay Smeltzer's table to ask if I could buy Sweet Dandelion. And they were like, you're lucky because we didn't order Sweet Dandelion to come. They weren't going to have it on the table, but they accidentally ordered one. And so I was able to buy the one that they accidentally ordered. And so I have this. It's gigantic. I didn't realize that it was this long. But I'm very, very excited, and you might be seeing it in a vlog soon. Then I bought The Pool Boy by Nikki Sloan for Polycon, seeing Nikki Sloan. This one is a age gap with a older heroine, and it is her best friend's son. And then I bought Muses and Melodies by Rebecca Yarros for A Polycon. I absolutely love this book. It's about a recovering addict and the babysitter, basically, sober coach that his band hires for him, and it's fantastic. And then I have the one book by an author from A Polycon who I didn't know, who convinced me to buy their book, and that is Tempting Little Teas by Rachel Bromwell. It was really, really cute. I thought the cover was beautiful. It sounds really good. I believe that it's a forbidden romance, and one of my good friends who I was at A Polycon with, she was buying a book for Rachel Bromwell's table, and they were like, oh, if you get a second one, it's less expensive, so I got one. Okay, that is all of them that I have. So let me move these out of the way. Okay, so that is all of the books that I have gotten so far this year, most of them being in the last 2 months for A Polycon, but that's going to be it for this video. So thank you so much for watching. Give it a like if you liked it, and please subscribe and stick around so you can see more content from me, and I hope that you have a great day. Bye!